So the trust avoids probate upon death, which I hate the word probate. It just basically means court administration. So if you don't do the administration, going back to what I was saying, you can't put away the trust for 20, 30 years and expect it to be up to date because your life changes. So it should be obviously updated and reviewed periodically.
And what do you recommend periodically?
I recommend, my own opinion is 5 years. It's a 5-year window because from personal experience, I've seen a lot of stuff happen in 5 years.
Sure.
I love it. Just this December, everybody loves emailing me, and some of these emails are just priceless. I wish I could just like that and put them on my website, but I can't. So I had a client who came in 2015. Unfortunately, the gentleman lost his wife, his first wife, and had 2 little kids, and he's like, hey, I should do my estate plan. I want my wife dead so I can name guardians for our kids in case something happens to me. So I'm going to take him to school, I'm going to pay for the school and all that stuff. The other thing is that he had a house in Fontana. Sure, just right when I'm talking, the guy decided to put a nail right there. Thank you. Basically, I didn't hear from him since 2015, and the guy sent me an email on December 22nd. If you guys remember that, that's the Friday before the Monday where everybody takes off for the holiday. And I get this email. I love it. Hey, Alan, long time no talk. And by the way, and it's very short. He's like, hey, I sold my house in Fontana and I moved to San Clemente. And by the way, I got married again. Surprise. And by the way, we're planning on doing the estate plan together. Or what do you think is best? Or we want to have kids together as well too. And I was like, oh my God, is this like back to law school, an exam with so many issues in just 2 sentences? And I'm like, hey, so-and-so, by the way, Monday is Christmas, so let's table this and set up an appointment after Christmas and let's meet. And then we had to deal with the whole issue of like, are you guys going to get prenuptials and separate your assets because it's a second marriage, and plus you got kids from the first wife? What's going to happen with your second wife? Is she going to treat your first 2 children from the first marriage the same as the kids that you guys have in common? Are you guys going to commingle the assets? What are you guys going to do? And now that you bought the house in San Clemente, is she on title or she's not on title? Who's making payments on this house? And we're dealing with all these issues, and I can see everybody's eyes just like, yeah, let's see you guys solve all that. No, it's all solvable. But what I'm basically saying, you need to look at these things periodically because your life changes. Believe it or not, the law changes as well too. And while you're living, you can still make the changes to adapt to what it is that you need. And then the other point that I want to make before I keep on going on this tangent is that just like probate court, with the living trust, it's a process of administration. It's either done through the courts or it's done by yourself and the people that you pick to be your administrators of your trust after you pass away. So the trust is a tool. It's going to have to be implemented. Don't just think that you just, by having a trust, it's going to happen by osmosis. It's going to shorten the time period in which things get transferred to your loved ones, and it's going to save you on time and money and headaches, but the work still has to be done. And that's the part that people don't understand. They think that just once they make it, that's it. No, it's proactive. You still have to make changes while you're alive, and then you still have to implement it when people pass away. You still got to take that check to the bank, don't you? And cash it. That still takes legwork. So, same difference.
So I have a, sorry.
Go ahead.
So I'm just putting it out there. A house, put it into my daughter's name, and I don't really want the husband to be a part of this.
All right.
Is that possible?
Well, yeah, it's always
Because,
possible.
only because,
You don't like them.
no. I think sometimes they get controlling, and it's not about him, it's about her.
No, your situation, and going on the serious note, I'm doing a 180 on you right now. I had a dad come in and basically his daughter, and by the way, everybody on TV land, I'm not disparaging this religion, but his son-in-law was a very conservative Muslim, and the dad's concern is that if I give this money to my daughter, that it's tradition for his family to be basically whatever she earns, that he takes control of it, and then he can basically send money back to wherever it is he's going to send money back to. That's just their religion, that's their culture, that's the way things are in that particular situation. And so the dad had a concern about that. You'll be happy to know that here in California, everything that is earned through the marriage, from the date of marriage, sorry, I'll pretend this is my little timeline, from the date of marriage to the date of death or divorce, everything in between is considered community property, except when a spouse receives an inheritance, a proverbial check, before marriage or during marriage or after marriage, it's always considered separate property, because the fact that Becky gave this gift to her, or the fact that you gave the home to your daughter, had nothing to do with the work, skills, or efforts of the marriage. So
Okay.
it was a gift, except we call it an inheritance instead of a gift. It's a gift when you're alive because you got the little to-go gift, but when someone passes away, all of a sudden we give it the fancy name and inheritance. So it's hers, but now you have to educate her. You have to
Right.
educate her in the fact that if she commingles that gift, and if she gets that money and she puts it into the proverbial joint account, or she adds him the title in
Yeah.
order to refinance because you guys want to get that new pool, or you want to get that new Hummer, or whatever that thing is, and then you guys need to refinance the house, she just basically she converted the property from separate property to
Good to know.
community property.
Okay.
But all along, you don't have to go to these extraordinary methods in the trust. You just say that the property goes to your daughter. or
Right,
to
and
your
that's in
children.
writing from the trust.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's always changeable, so that if you feel that, she's really not on board with what your philosophy is, you can always
Yeah.
obviously change that. But talk to them, is what I tell them.
Okay, thank you.